Yeah, welcome. Especially, I wanted the people on YouTube seeing this later to get a little bit of look at our Magritte picture and our the quotes under it. The two lines under it: "Where the walls are gone, we will hang new windows. We will build a horizon from scraps of clouds." Come from one of the poems we're going to read today. I'm so glad you're here. Uh, Wish you was here. Wish you were here is sort of a something you would put on a postcard. And when you're having a great time, like on vacation, well, sometimes when you're having a not so great time, you'd still wish your community was here. And that's why I'm glad you're here. Three poems today, and there'll be postcards and kind of windows into the really real. Richard Rohr calls God the really real. And I think he's right. I think he's right. So today I will be sending you three poetic postcards. One from present day Gaza, which it's amazing. Quite an amazing poem, and I'll give you a little introduction to that. One will come from 13th century Turkey, so we'll go back. It's 800 years, and then the last one will be one from right here at Loose Leaf Hollow. And my hope is that it will inspire you always to open a wider window into what is really real. Uh, Poetry is a right brain language. If you want to know what the language that the right brain really enjoys, it's silence and poetry. And poetry is words into silence and out of silence. And the only way to listen to poetry, so we'll be practicing with right brain skills, is to listen from the ear of the heart. And that's what drops what veils come between the really real and also listening with the ear of the heart. It can hang a new window in place of the veils. You know, our one of our operative, I think one of the best things that to explain why people would do a spiritual practice at all is that great quote from Islamic culture where Muhammad just shows up speaking to Allah shows up speaking in this kind of silence when Muhammad was in retreat in a cave, and all of a sudden he hears the voice of the Holy One who says to him, Muhammad, between you and me are 70,000 veils, but between me and you are none. Now, that short little vignette from Muhammad's life, it's everybody's. How many veils do we have between us and the really real? Uh, Maybe more than 70,000. Well, okay, I guess we can turn off the screensaver here. Let me do that. Yeah, good. And I have to arrange this a bit. All right. This poem from Gaza comes somewhere between the current, after October 7th and now. I'm not sure when. And I'm going to read just a little bit of introduction. It was spoken and at a online kind of Zoom thing, which they met and just shared their poems while they're getting bombed. And there's a professor of literature, American literature, there whose school and classroom no longer exists. His name is Nazmi El Masri, and he has cataloged these poems and is sending them out to the West. And this is a little introduction to this poem, and to a bunch of other poems that came. It's quite a precious poem. He says, these are not poems written in quiet rooms. They're written under collapsing ceilings, typed on phones with failing batteries, memorized because paper may not survive. They are carried in voices, in breath, in memory. In places where homes are lost and landscapes altered beyond recognition, poetry becomes more than expression. It becomes a way of holding on to humanity, a way of naming what is happening when numbers and images cannot fully speak, a way of remembering. Poetry crosses borders where people cannot. It moves through language, through silence, through distance. It travels across generations and geographies, carrying with it the lived experience of those who refuse to disappear. For many of these writers, poetry is not separate from life. It is survival. It is witness. It is mourning. And it is hope. It documents what cannot be archived elsewhere. It keeps stories alive when physical places are gone. As Palestinian poet and scholar Mossab Abatoa writes, we carry our houses in our hearts after the walls are gone. For more than 20 years, we've endured the weight of siege here in Gaza. For more than 55 years, occupation has touched every aspect of our lives. While land, homes, and daily routines may be occupied, there is one thing that cannot be: our minds. In our minds, we carry freedom. In our minds, we hold on to life with dignity, no matter how difficult the reality around us. At the close of the poetry reading, one student simply said, let's throw away war. Let's throw away war. It is a sentence that holds both impossibility and insistence. It gave us the title for this collection of poems from Gaza. I'm going to put on the screensaver to give you the title of the poems of the collection. Whoops. Yeah, you know, there it is. Let's throw away the war. And this poem comes from, it's the first one in that collection, and it's one of the greatest. It's called "Be My Brother." And to put this in context, no matter what is collapsing in your life at the moment, and we all have those moments when everything falls apart and we don't know what to do. Everything falls apart and we're just in emptiness. And this comes from there. And it's called "Be My Brother." I'm just going to read it twice. If you open the Gaza postcards that I sent on Saturday, you've already seen it, but it'll bear reading a couple more times. So I'm just going to read it twice slowly and then go on to the next. But it's amazing, and it'll be in the notes that I send out. It's called "Be My Brother," from one of the people on cell phone. They're writing on their cell phones. They don't have computers sometimes. Be my brother. Be my brother. Come with me to the burnt maps of days. We will walk where the ash still smells of promise. Clasp my hands. Hold the small, stubborn pulse there. Between us, the sky will not collapse. Even if the roofs of houses have already fallen, we will build a horizon from scraps of clouds and teach the wind to carry our names forward. We will not count the losses. We will count the rivers that refuse to dry, the stones that keep warmth after fire, the children who draw suns on ruined walls. Cry with me. Let the sound be pure and unshattered. Let it rise like a call no one can ignore. From our tears, the ground will learn to bloom. We will open the road with our own steps. Where the dust is thick, we will draw fresh lines. Where the walls are gone, we will hang new windows. Be my brother. Step forward. The night is a careful teacher. We will learn to grow a light from the place of ashes. Be my brother. Come with me to the burnt maps of days. We will walk where the ash still smells of promise. Clasp my hands. Hold the small, stubborn pulse there. Between us, the sky will not collapse. Even if the roofs of houses have already fallen, we will build a horizon from scraps of clouds and teach the wind to carry our names forward. We will not count the losses. We will count the rivers that refuse to dry, the stones that keep warmth after fire, the children who draw suns on ruined walls. Cry with me. Let the sound be pure and unshattered. Let it rise like a call no one can ignore. From our tears, the ground will learn to bloom. We will open the road with our own steps. Where the dust is thick, we will draw fresh lines. Where the walls are gone, we will hang new windows. Be my brother. Step forward. The night is a careful teacher. We will learn to grow a light from the place of ashes. Shad al-Nak is the name of the poet there, Shad al-Nak. I'm going to put up another image here for our next poem. Oops, lost it. Lost and found. Where are we? Oh. Well, we'll have to do without this image. Yeah. This is a poem from by Rumi from 13th century. He was living in Konya, Turkey, and it's a I don't know anybody who could write a poem like this other than Rumi. He starts with lovers in bed and then goes from there. So this is called the Sunrise Ruby, and it is about everything. Rumi says, in the early morning hour, just before dawn, Lover and beloved wake and take a drink of water. She asks, do you love me more? Do you love me or yourself more? She asks, do you love me or yourself more? Really, tell the absolute truth. He says, there's nothing left of me. I'm like a ruby held up to the sunrise. Is it still a stone or a world made of redness? It has no resistance to sunlight. The ruby and the sunrise are one. Be courageous and discipline yourself. Completely become hearing and ear and wear this sun ruby as an earring. Work. Keep digging your well. Don't think about getting off from work. Water is there somewhere. Submit to a daily practice. Your loyalty to that is a ring on the door. Keep knocking, and the joy inside will eventually open a window and look out to see who's there. To listen to this again, see where it turns. In the early morning hour, just before dawn, lover and beloved wake and take a drink of water. She asks, do you love me or yourself more? Really, tell the absolute truth. He says, there's nothing left of me. I'm like a ruby held up to sunrise. Is it still a stone or a world made of redness? It has no resistance to sunlight. The ruby and the sunrise are one. So be courageous and discipline yourself. Completely become hearing and ear and wear this sun ruby as an earring. Work. Keep digging your well. Don't think about getting off from work. Water is there somewhere. Submit to a daily practice. Your loyalty to that is a ring on the door. Keep knocking. Keep knocking. Keep knocking. And the joy inside will eventually open a window and look out to see who's there. Now, the third poem is one I've been working on. I published it in The Cave of the Heart, but poems have a way of evolving after you put them in print. So this is called Cor Unum, which is one heart in Latin. There's only one heart. When we talk about the ear of the heart, we're talking about the universal heart, the sacred heart. In Buddhism, it's called the bodhicitta. Everybody has a name for it. In the traditions that understand the heart and the soul, and as we live in a planet and certainly a culture that increasingly soul is not even factored in. It's all about stuff and material and transactional reality. And again, these windows, these three poems are windows into um, the really real. You can't tell sometimes when you look at a picture, is it real or is it AI now? It's so hard to tell. But so to actually, what we do as a community here is learn how to develop that thing, that that one heart, that sacred heart, that bodhicitta, that center of us that always knows what's real. It can tell. And we have to listen with it to poems. We have to listen with it when we lose things, when we lose friends, when we lose beloved people. Uh, there's a period of grief where you're present. It's like being at the foot of the cross for Mother Mary. There was three Marys there, and one young teenager. Everybody ran away when Jesus was crucified, but the women stayed, and the young kid who didn't know any better to be afraid, and they couldn't do anything, but they are present. And well, that's an image of the greatest image of grief that I know, when you lose something, or when somebody who's dear to you is suffering greatly for something, and just to be present. And so that's the heart we're talking about. And that's really real. It gets really real when your best laid plans all break down and there's loss. So where do you go? Well, that's where Rumi says, you know, if you have a daily practice, you know where to go. You drop into the heart. So this poem is, I'm going to read it twice slowly as a sort of entrance into the heart. So you might want to shift a little bit if you usually like leave the screen and go elsewhere. I'm going to put up our icon for it, which interestingly enough, uh, when when Rumi says, "Keep digging your well. There's water down there somewhere." This is actual a drawing done by a nun from the suburbs around Chicago. There's a retreat house, and I love it. It's called the Well. The place she worked at was called the Well. So keep digging your well, as he says. There's water down there somewhere. And water is life. If you know the poem that's called "The Well of Grief" by David White, it's just so clear. He says, this isn't the poem, by the way. So we'll have four poems today. David White says, he says, those who will not slip beneath the still surface on the well of grief, turning down, turning down, turning down through the black water where you cannot breathe, will never know the source from which we drink, the secret water, cold and clear, nor see in the darkness glimmering the small round coins thrown by those who wish for something else. He's talking about the grieving process in just less than 50 words. He said, those who will not slip beneath the still surface on the well of grief. When you lose something big, it's like there's terrific amount of surface tension. I used to think if you fell off a plane into a lake or a body of water, that would be better than solid land, but it's actually like hitting cement. There's surface tension there. And so he's talking about those who will not slip beneath the still surface on the well of grief, because everything becomes still, everything becomes sort of empty, and it's people don't want to do it. They feel like if I ever go into it, I'll never get out of it, and it is. You need guidance. Those who will not slip beneath the still surface on the well of grief, turning down, turning down, turning down through the water that you cannot breathe, will never know the source from which we think. Turning down, turning down, turning down through the black water. Black is an image of darkness. You don't know where you're going. Through the black water to the place where you cannot breathe. A lot of people turn back there. But if you keep going down and down and down to the place where you cannot breathe, then you will discover the, the cool water, the clean water, the amazing water, fresh and clear, and you can discover in the darkness, glimmering, those shiny gold coins thrown by those who wish for something else. We all wish for something else. Yeah, only if you do the grief work. Yeah. So this poem will take us down this well. If you consent to practice with cheerful perseverance and stay committed to simply dropping, dropping your awareness down through the body, down into the cave of the heart. Then, one fine morning, with no hint of warning, the beloved will simply appear at your back door. And then you'll be eternally one heart, shining like the sun. If you consent to practice with cheerful perseverance and stay committed to simply dropping your awareness down through the body, down into the cave of the heart. Then, one fine morning, with no hint of warning, the beloved will simply appear at your back door. And then you'll be eternally one heart, shining like the sun.